Hi, I'm Annie from the Prairie,
And I am Adrienne from the ocean.
and we are talking to you today as a team with over 80 years reading experience. And
Yay.
that is something to be proud of, huh, sister?
Yes, it is. It used to not be something I really thought much about, but the more people I meet, the happier I am for the years of experience that we have.
And I am talking to more and more people that are calling people on lines like California Psychics and places like that going, my God, I didn't know what they were talking about, despite the fact that so many people say that on the commercials that they have fabulous readers. And I know that they are tested, but there is sometimes a formula that some companies like of sugarcoating. And so they think that that's going to bring people back. How do you feel about sugarcoating?
Well, I do believe in using tact and kindness and gentleness and compassion, but I do believe in being honest. I may have to take an extra couple of sentences to get to a point sometimes, but it's because certain things you just don't want to drop in a person's lap if they're going to be something that's going to require an emotional adjustment.
I agree. I would say that spiritual diplomacy is something that
Yes.
that readers and therapists and everybody learns through years of experience. And the definition of a spiritual diplomat to me is someone that knows how to say harsh things in soft ways that don't hurt feelings. Because what happens is when you have somebody that's brutally honest with you or says something negative and doesn't know how to say it, what's going to happen is they shut down.
And also these negativities stick with you. Years ago, I remember exploring astrology. And now the early astrology books, believe it or not, had a very negative opinion of Pisceans.
Oh, really?
Indeed, they did. The way they saw the zodiac was a head-to-foot thing, and by the time you got to the foot, you were at the bottom of the pile. And there were some people who were actually very snobby about it and really kind of looked askance if you were some kind of an emotional, messy Piscean. And it was kind of weird to hear somebody say, "Oh, well, now this is an amateur talking, and this is why I like people who have more experience. Here's an amateur talking because he's gone through his first book on astrology, an old text, and he did my natal chart. And he said, when you're in middle age, you're going to end up in some kind of an institution or in a prison."
Oh, no!
And I said, "Excuse me, where do you come up with something like that?" And he says, "It says it right here, people. And you're a Pisces. And Pisces are the bottom of the barrel." But I was like, what? What?
But
I was like,
that was back in the days when everybody thought that the only sign that really mattered was your birth sign. And now we know that it's like an equation where you combine moon, rising, and birth.
everything that's going on when you're born can be looked at as important. Or you can ignore it, and keep going. But whether I ignored this person's reading or not wouldn't have mattered. The point was that because it was such a negative, horrible thing to say to somebody, especially somebody I was only 21 at the time, so that was I was impressionable, I took it to heart at first. It was really hurtful. It was like, how can you say that I'm going to end up like this? I mean, wow. And over the years, of course, I uncovered many other things that were like untruths, basically, or general misunderstandings or personal prejudices of the writers. And so I was able to overcome all of that. But the point is that people, especially young people, they pick up something and they look at it as a new skill, and really they're practicing on the public and getting their bearings. Now you see 20-year-olds going to do cards. They may be very intuitive, yet have so little experience in relationships that when they see, a conflict between a couple, and it looks bad, the death card and all that, they would, maybe thrown right into this panic of, Oh, you've got to watch it. Your relationship's on the rocks. He may be cheating on you because I see the queen here. And you know what? An experienced reader would look and say, the guy's a mama's boy and he ain't leaving home. Yeah. Or, you know, they had a fight, but that's what happens when you're married for 20 years. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
Right.
But when you're 20, all of that stuff in every relationship is the last and the most important. All these things are extra dramatic. So I do like a seasoned reader because they don't jump off into the wilderness of terror.
Well, yeah. And, you know, I think that also there's something to be said about an auntie or somebody that has the voice of wisdom that just knows how to be more compassionate and more feeling because they are more experienced, but also they just know from years of screw ups how to talk to people and how not to talk to people so doors don't get slammed.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
If you're trying to make a point, you don't want to alienate the person.
Right. But you know, I mean, the thing is that today I would like to also kind of discuss the power and the magnificence of being a rainbow crone, as well as I think maybe we wanted to discuss kind of about getting in touch with the new frontier of combining spiritual holistic healing with traditional healing. Didn't we want to discuss that? And we want to discuss that why.
I think that's great.
And why do you think that's important that we discuss that?
Because everybody is a slave to their ego. Everybody has a spirit.
Isn't that the truth?
Now, the ego is just brutal, and, you know, I say that we need our egos up to a point. I think sometimes it's great to have an ego because if you don't have a sense of self enough to feel different from everybody else, if you feel like when your spirit is speaking where you are part of everyone, you're interconnected or intraconnected, you know. And when you're like that, there's no need for you to perhaps strive at a particular thing. But your ego as an individual wants to make you stand out, to achieve, you know, to do something different. And it's the ego that also keeps us experimenting and I think youthful, exploring things like crazy hair colors or crazy haircuts. So, you know, crazy to maybe great-great-great-grandmother. But today, you know, it's always every generation, you know, it's the young people, that youthful energy that is on the cutting edge of new stuff, the new technologies. But it's the older people that have the wisdom, that are more grounded. But we also have sorted out certain ego problems that held us down.
Yeah, we kind of know that our hot shit stuff is basically kind of full of that ego. That we found out that a lot of the things that we thought we knew for sure, we didn't know crap.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And I mean, you know, I mean, we could talk about, and here's another thing. I love earthy, organic readings that don't talk with a lot of highfalutin spiritual lingo that's popular in the now. Because what it does is it's like cotton. It fills up valuable time. And if you're not willing to explain those words, I'll give you something that I really hate right now, the word boom. Everybody's using the word, well, today I went to the store and boom, wouldn't you know it, this or that happened. And golly darn, I was thinking about, I went to go and do my taxes today and boom, wouldn't you know it, the audit came. You know, the boom thing. And pretty soon...
Where's it coming from?
Oh, it's coming from TV and commercials. The media. The commercials and media are the ones that pretty much tell us what fad words we should be using.
Oh, yes, of course.
Kind of like this Ebola.
Oh, you know, we just have to have the biggest problem with the media right now is that it's not real reporters talking. It's opinions. People that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground getting on there because they wrote a nice sounding article or a convincing article one direction or another, they get published.
Right.
And it's never been easier to get published, but it's just opinion. It isn't actual research. I just saw an article, it was supposed to be at the end of 20-year research on marijuana, whether it's bad for you or not. What the people that have been putting the most money behind that are trying to show that it's bad. But if you look at the actual study, you go, what? How did they get that from this?
What do you mean? Like what? What are you talking about?
Oh, well, like trying to compare it to heroin.
Oh no, not really.
But people are still doing that. They're still trying to compare marijuana. Now, I, as a proponent of its use medicinally and recreationally, I have to say, I have to also be honest about it. I will also say I don't believe it's for younger people. You know, they're the ones that are experimenting, but I would prefer it people were 21 and over to use it. And so it wouldn't bother me if it was regulated because, hey, you know, people are still going to do, the kids are still going to do what kids do. But
you know,
you check them a bit. And also it's smoking. If you're smoking, you are inhaling a substance that is foreign to your lungs, and therefore it's bad. So I would have to say for smoking is just for that reason, ingest it or do something else, but you use a vaporizer. You know, you have to look at the ways to educate the public so that it's safer, but still. It's just one idea.
I agree. I believe that, my opinion, medical marijuana is probably far better than taking these elaborate, high-priced, $1,000 a pill medications that actually, for pain especially, that are causing such its dependence and now. I talked to somebody that was in Tennessee in the mountains, and she wanted a little house out by the hillbillies, and she wanted to be able to be back to earth. Well, guess what? They are now swamped by break-ins by people that are addicted to Oxycontin. And these old people are getting beat to death, and they're getting hurt simply because they possess these very highly addictive drugs, and
in high doses.
Yeah.
Now, this is, okay, we're not really talking about this, but I will just quickly say the reason I'm a proponent of marijuana use for pain and for other physical maladies, it's not a panacea, like anything else is not a panacea, but it does cover a rather large range of maladies that we are currently medicating at the expense of billions and billions of dollars with over-the-counter things, too. I'm going to tell you that I have been for most of my life on 2 prescription drugs, and one of them was 6 tablets a day. And thanks to medicinal marijuana, I'm a legal user, I'm licensed and all that. Thanks to that, I went down to 1 a day from 6. Okay. And the most important one, the codeine, I went from 2 a day to actually, by the end of 30 days, having a whole week's worth of medication left over.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is, that's pretty amazing. And
I think the biggest reason that we're seeing the objections to use of it as medicine
pharmacies.
You got it. That's it.
And it's why are we not going to electrical cars? Why are we not going faster to, because the tycoons don't want us to eliminate them. And
until they have created new revenue sources.
But I have heard that the Rockefellers are now going towards green sources of power, and that they said more and more billionaires are starting to do this simply because they realize that if they don't, they're going to be phased out.
Of course. And the thing is that I've met Clay Rockefeller. I used to rent in the same building. He owns several apartments. And he's a really down-to-earth, super nice young man. Proud daddy, a good daddy, takes care of all his neighbors. This is a guy that goes out there in the snowstorms. And we had our first winter up here in Rhode Island. Let me tell you, they were bad. And going from this North Carolina with no snow to up here with 12 inches of snow twice in one winter. This guy was out there shoveling. Now people like me couldn't do anything with my back, making sure there were walkways for everybody. And he didn't have to do that. He's not a building owner or maintenance person. But he was doing it for the steel yard next door, which is where he really does work. And that was property that he took that was brown ground. I mean, I forget they call it when it's contaminated.
Yeah.
They at a great expense, managed to, and with his knowledge of how to use the system, helped it, because even when you're very rich, you don't necessarily have a bottomless purse.
Right.
At least not on your own,
Right.
So he he made things happen. They cleaned that up and turned it into a place of art and learning.
Wow.
And it is an awesome place. It's a place they have an event every year in the autumn. They do a live molten iron pour. So people are into ironwork and steel and welding and creating art out of that. They have a great place to go. They've got artists that rent studios there. In the summer, they teach you about, they've got different artists volunteering their time. Mm-hmm. Well, not volunteering, they're getting paid, you pay for your classes for that. But it's not like super expensive. He is a down-to-earth person, and everything about him, I'm sure, especially with the way he has seen Providence, rise and fall and rise and fall and rise and fall.
Yeah.
And being a daddy, he is such a compassionate man. I believe that he is part of the new generation of Rockefellers that will help salvage this country. And at the same time, of course, they're not going to go broke. No. But these people bend their own backs. The perception of the older money is maybe true, but the younger people are much more politically aware. They're much more active.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm always amazed that so many of the young people are going back to the roots of their grandparents, but, in the natural style of life, or incorporating, as we were going to discuss today, both the components of traditional modern with the spiritual components to create one good, balanced outlook.
Yes.
And I have hope for the young people when I know that they're doing that.
Me too.
Of course, we all, there's always going to be the rotten apples amongst all of us. And right now, in not only in the spiritual field, in the traditional medicine, and in the spiritual. And one thing I was going to talk about today, is that I discussed today, I had a reading with a young woman that wanted, and this is a case of a young woman that is wanting to get into both worlds. She finished her nursing, her traditional nursing degree, and now she wants to expand and go into becoming the full-leveled Reiki master, so that she can combine both spirituality and traditional medicine in one, instead of, I'm just as aggravated by holistic healers that say, don't go to traditional medicine, because it has its good points too.
Yes. It's saving my life right now. Yeah, there you go. And also I hate it when traditionalists call holistic healers quacks. I think that most hospitals have seen that people that are in comas or people that are next to death, when they have prayer or meditation or the frequency of spirit is brought into the into the soup of healing, it causes miracles to happen. And So true.
And I think that it not only causes a more positive attitude, it makes people feel nurtured. It makes people feel that they're not alone. It helps lift their spirits. And I think that all of that combined is just a new frontier that we are going to see, the combination of both, instead of both fields aggressively and egotistically saying, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. Don't you think?
Oh, yes. Matter of fact, one of the biggest sorrows of leaving North Carolina was leaving our healer behind. Holly is a fabulous chiropractor, but gentle touch, which is why I found her, because of my rod. I can't be, I can't have all that bone cracking kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I needed somebody that could handle me very gently. But she also brought in, the electronic age. Units. She had massage. She studied herself. She studied energy healing. So she studied Reiki. She became a Reiki master. She also went to school, and she's working on a degree in psychology so she can be a counselor. Not to be a counselor, but to apply the counseling skills, because psychology is integrated with your physical well-being. And also, she's got the spiritual side. She's a very spiritual woman, and she's a very open-minded woman. And when we went to her, my husband and I both went, she used every modality that was necessary, from acupuncture to massage to, manipulation of a limb, whatever joint, whatever it took. And Glenn, my husband, was in pain from a torticollis knot in his neck. For 2 straight years, agony, headaches, pain. He cried every day from the pain, and nobody could relieve it. He went to chiropractor after chiropractor, nothing. Went to her, between her and the massage therapist, and 3 appointments, they did it. 3 appointments of being open to using a variety of modalities rather than being rigid and sticking with one. They healed him. He didn't have another issue with his shoulder until he moved, and he wrenched it. And then I know he's gone through his physical therapy again, but nothing as effective or as quick in healing as Holly was for him. If I could flown him down there for Holly to work on for a week, I would have.
Really? Yeah.
That good. She is wonderful, and she's in this little pissant town called Ruth, or Rutherfordton. I think she's right over the Ruth border, maybe Rutherfordton, North Carolina. It's very few people even know about that place unless they're going through it to somewhere else. Right. She is doing great because people know her, they trust her, and she is constantly self-educating, constantly going to school, to improve the number of modalities she can use to help everybody that walks through her door.
Oh, wow.
Amazingly enlightened in that way. And when I say enlightened, I'm not using it in a New Age way. I mean enlightened in terms of she knows what is needed for humanity.
Right.
She is doing everything that she can on her part to be as big of an answer for the community that she's in as she can be. So people like her are just too rare. I wish I could send everybody that, here, follow what she's doing, and you will be a blessing unto the world. Really, whatever we choose to do, we're a blessing unto the world.
Sounds good. Do you want to get to some of our calls? Because
my goodness,
they're dropping out. They're dropping out because we're yakking away. Okay, so we're going to start with Nina from Tennessee. So, Nina, what can we do for you?
Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Nina.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. What question do you have for Adrienne?
Well, I actually wanted to ask, I just needed to step out of work, ironically, because I'm actually in between a rock and a hard place.
We're going to do that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And? I'm a Pisces, and they said that I'm on the bottom of the barrel.
What did you just say?
I'm a Pisces, and I heard you guys said that we're usually in the bottom of the barrel.
Pisces, okay.
Well, let me tell you something about the bottom of the barrel, girlfriend. It's really upside down. It's the cream that rises to the top, and Pisces is the cream. So just you rise, and you know what? The biggest thing you've got going right now is you cannot listen to other people. You've got to step away from the crowd. You have to be your own sheep, even if it's the black sheep.
Right.
For you to follow other people right now, even, I'm not saying don't listen to good advice. Listen to lots of advice, but you don't have to follow any of it until you hear something that really chimes in your spirit. When you feel it in your gut says, hey, I feel good. I don't have any tension. That's a good choice. And then the next thing you'll feel is a little bit of excitement, sometimes a little nausea, but usually it's excitement. And this is from you listening to your true inner voice. So you need to step away from the crowd.
Right.
Annie, I don't want to take up all your time. Go on, honey.
Yeah. Nina, what comes up immediately on you, and I'm going to let Adrienne attend to that Pisces bonding there. But what comes up in your reading shows that you're very intuitive, and somebody or something around you has been causing you to feel like you're stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in. Your reading shows that you have a chance to turn your own dreams into reality and that you are a warrior woman at heart. But there is a sense that you may have a good friend or somebody, or maybe it's a mother. I don't know who this person is, but she seems to always give the negative about you. And there's a sense that you need to stop listening to that, just like Adrienne said. Whoever this friend is, whoever this is, that seems to be jealous of you in a way, but to be able to make herself feel better, she finds ways to slam you subtly. And subtly is the worst because you internalize it more. It's kind of like what con artists do. That's
actually what my question was going to be, because at work there's two positions available and that I'm seeing. One is on the medical field, which is what I ultimately want because I want to help people. But then there's another section where I have this supervisor, and he's telling me that he will get me there, but I need to work with him first. And I'm starting to lose faith in him and everything, and I think I might have to step on his toes and just go to the owner and say, I need help with this, because the manager, I feel, is in cahoots with him. So that's why it's like, what do I do? Do I approach the manager? Do I approach the owner? Or do I stay with this dude? It's like,
I have a feeling that she's being set up, don't you?
Well, here's the thing.
Work with him.
When you go to higher sources about other people that are offering you things that don't seem ethical, you get the reputation for being a whistleblower.
Right.
And there's a good thing about it. The good thing about it is that the higher ups want whistleblowers so that they can see if anyone else is, using them in negative ways. On the other hand, sometimes the same people that want whistleblowers then become fearful, well, what if they do it to us? So my feeling is that you should do what you need to do for you in the most positive and ethical way. And if your guides are telling you that you should go to one person instead of another, do so. Not necessarily to blow the whistle on anyone, but just say, I feel more comfortable going through you. And follow your gut. It won't take you. You just have to do what you need to do.
You can also, by taking your ego and fear out of this, because it feels like this guy basically doesn't have your best interest in mind, but his. Tact is really, really necessary. I would not say to be a whistleblower at this point, because I'm getting the message for you to drop it. But there are different ways that you can go around without coming across as being sneaky and still reach your objective. You can basically, if you really want to move into the medical, and there, you know what you need is to make sure you're clear from them what it will take for you to get there. Say, this is my goal, ultimate goal. So you tell me what I need to do to get there, and I'm willing to do it. And if he says you need to work in this department first, then you say, okay, I'm fine with that. But how long do I have to work in this department before I get a shot at the one I really want and think and believe I will be good at? So if you're doing it diplomatically, where he
right, I was thinking spiritual diplomacy is learning to say harsh things in soft ways.
Right. When you're asking the questions, what you want are answers. You need to get to the bottom of how long do you have to work in a department you don't want before you have a shot at the other department. And you need to have some kind of an idea. 30 days, 90 days, a year. What is he looking for? And if he says, I want you to take it, play it by ear, you go, well, then can you tell me what it is you're looking for? Is there something
they told me before it will play by ear, and I know that it's just a lie. You know, they also said, "Oh, be here 3 months, and we'll give you a raise," and that was a lie too. No, they're acting like they have that need there.
How many employees? How many employees?
Like 10.
10? Okay, so you got a small shop, which means gossip travels fast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cut off your feet. When
please don't cut off your feet.
Yeah, you still have a chance to move, my little Piscean. So don't let your ego make you feel too sensitive or take things too personally. Remember, it's still just a damn job. Until you get to where you want to go, It's just a damn job. It's not your career. It's not who you are. And you're working for people that you are lucky enough not to be married to, and you don't have to go home with them every night or to them every night. So look at the blessings in your situation to make you more patient, but do give them straight answers. How long? And if you really feel that you're getting run around, then maybe writing a note or making a phone call. Now, are you with the owner, if you're close enough to have that kind of a conversation where you can feel like you can trust them? Again, if you come across like a complainer or a whiner, you're the one that loses, because then they're going to hear the story from the manager who has the power and the paycheck. So if you're applying for a position, then you need to be clear on how to sell yourself. What are your skills? Why should you get that position? It's always sales. You have to sell yourself. Why is it your job? Why should it be your job?
Right.
Know it. Yes, go ahead, Danny.
We need to get going because we have other people in the 22 minutes.
Okay. Nice talking to you, sweetheart. Good luck, but I think you'll be okay. Just remember,
Likewise.
Don't react.
Thank you so much.
Welcome,
You're
Nina.
Honey. Take care.
All right, we're going to go to the chat room so we don't miss anybody, and then we'll head to Donna in the call room.
Okay.
So, Mara, I do want to say all of the questions are about work today, and that's interesting because that must mean that employment is getting better. Even if people don't like their jobs, at least they have jobs.
Right.
So Mara is from New Hampshire, and she says, hello, Anne-Marie and Adrienne. I think I may be losing my job because of a negative person at work that is constantly telling negative things about me. Do you see this happening soon or after the first of the year, or will I just be moved from the area? Blessings, ladies.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can. Go ahead. You take it first, anyway.
All right. Okay. So we're looking at Mara, and the question is, will Mara lose her job? And if I look at that, the first thing that comes up, Mara, shows that I do not see you losing your job. I do see that you are going to have to be very cautious about not responding or not reacting to this negative person. I show somebody who gets feel goods by making others, instigating others into problems, and that this person already has a reputation for being an instigator, and most people know that they do it because they're insecure. I feel also that you are a well-liked person as well, and my feeling is just take your bitch pill and don't react. Remember the wise words of Maya Angelou said, that when someone slams you or says something that they want to get a reaction from, sometimes the very best thing you can do is look at them calmly and smile. It seems that this person's trying to get a rise out of you, and I wouldn't let them do it, and it'll help you keep your job. What do you have on?
Okay, well, I got right now, take a breather, which is saying you need to let yourself relax. It'll clear your mind and allow you to hear your own intuition and your inner guidance. So to take a breather is to have faith in the divine order of life. In other words, stop saying you're going to get fired, stop saying it's going to be this or that, and instead repeat things to yourself like, I am relaxed and I flow with life easily and effortlessly. This is something that actually was going to be the total topic of our, to bring the spiritual in with the physical. Right now, you're all focused on the physical potential of losing a job, but it's not a reality yet. Just because you're working with some witch doesn't mean you're going to absolutely lose your job. But if you did, would it be that bad at the moment? To take a breather suggests that maybe you do need to step back. Either step back completely and let yourself get fired, or you can always stand up for yourself if you just take a breather and say, okay, wait a minute. Instead of my emotions dictating what I'm going to do, I'm going to really just step back and check my vibes. And how much of this is really fear and ego defense? You don't have to lose your job. If you did, it would not be the end of the world. You would not be out of work for very long. And if they fire you, that means you have to be covered by unemployment.
Yeah, you'll get unemployment.
But the thing is, I'm not saying that. I'm just basically saying you need a break from the emotional stuff that's going on here. And when you can break yourself from it, you will see more clearly, and you will know who to talk to or who not to talk to and what to do about it. And you can either go ahead and rescue your work or go ahead and let them act out on, somebody who doesn't have anything better to do than cause problems for other people.
There you go. We need to go to Donna from California.
I hope that helped, honey.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
Hi, Donna.
Hello. What can Adrienne do for you today?
Yeah, I've been emailing this man.
What was that?
You're I'll meet him, and he suggested us going out to lunch and going boating and all. And I don't know. I wanted to know, how does this look like it will go for me with him?
What is the name of the person we're reading on? What is his name?
His name is Neil.
Can you look at Neil, Adrienne, and see what Neil's feelings and intentions are?
Yeah.
I can give it a shot right now.
Want me to start?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So if I look at Neil, the first thing that comes through, sweetie, shows that at this particular time, you want to, it says, understand that he wants to have, and he wants the ability to be fond of you, to have sex with you, but also to be able to come and go as he pleases. His reading shows that you are instrumental in helping him get over a rough situation or patch in his life. And there is a sense that he at times can be a little arrogant for no reason, just when he's been really wonderful. So your reading says that he's, he's consistently inconsistent. So my feeling is, I would not put too much store on him, because that's what I see him continuing to be. What do you have, A?
Well, I got the Hermit, which is suggesting for you to consider some meditation, some solitude, so that you can engage in some soul searching. You need to have some well-deserved me time right now, and really think about, again, are you holding on to something because it feels good in the moment, or because you just don't want to look at the red flags? Now, if you have red flags coming up in your gut every time you question anything about him, that's telling you the truth right there. Mm-hmm. It's saying, this is not a reliable situation. And it's not a reliable situation. But
Okay.
if you will but the thing is, it's like taking a really wonderful bubble bath. Okay, if you get in and have a good time, after a while the water gets lukewarm, and you have to either
And the bubbles go away.
that's right. You either have to put in more bubble bath, or you got to put more hot water in there, or you're going to have to get out of the bathtub. And with this guy, the relationship is kind of like, well, enjoy it while you're in the bubbles, but when the bubbles start to fade, be willing to let it just do its own thing, and it may turn around where. If he gets a sense that you are, not that you don't want him around, but that there's no chain, you may see more of him than you want.
Mm-hmm. You may be more tempting because you could give a crap.
Right. It's like, I care about you, but I'm not giving my life over to you.
Well, I live 2.5 hours away from him. So I'm near him because my sister lives there, and I'll be there. I'll be meeting him for, I'll be there 5 days, but then I come back home. So he would have to come here the next time.
So it's a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
That's okay. So that's why it's like enjoy a bubble bath. When it's there, it's there, and when it's not there, don't count on it. You always have to be getting bubbles or more hot water because you have to be able to be alone. If you feel good by being yourself and being alone with yourself, then
I'm alone all the time. Yeah, I'm alone all the time.
I don't see insecurity as being an issue for you.
You're comfortable with your own company.
Yeah.
You're comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's a good.
Yeah, and I've traveled by myself, and I'm pretty independent. I'm 60 and I never married.
I'm pretty independent.
Congratulations.
I'm 60. I'm 60 and I'm dead.
Well, can I ask you a question for all those single women out there? When you travel by yourself, or you go out to eat by yourself, what do you do to make yourself? What do you do as you travel by yourself or sit by yourself to make yourself feel comfortable and that? What do you personally do?
Great question.
Well, I meditate every morning for 45 minutes. I go into my own soul, my own stillness, my own quietness. And when I'm at a restaurant by myself, which I go to often, or movies or, whatever, I don't need that outside extraction to have the stillness and the happiness within myself.
Wonderful.
I'm okay with it.
Yes. You are
when I went to Italy,
Italy,
I got on the internet and I booked everything the night before to stay near the train stations where all the museums and everything are in Italy. And I just winged it, every day, and I'd meet people and I'd go off with them, or I'd be by myself. And it was
awesome.
I don't know, I enjoyed it. You can kind of do what you want to do.
I love that.
While we're on the topic, I would like to discuss something while you're here and see if you agree with this. Okay. The article is called, I'm going to it right now. 6 things French women can teach us about aging. And, some of the stuff that it posts are very inspiring. They say that a lot of people will say that French women or European women they're so much more comfortable with not being cookie cutter. And it says, number 1, women of all ages can be sensual love interests and not just the matronly grandmothers in popular movies. Consider Catherine Deneuve, 69, Isabelle Huppert, 60, Juliette Binoche, 49, and French actresses such as Natalie Baye, 65, and it says hard to even name an older sex symbol other than perhaps Raquel Welch, who's still at 72 pretty darn sexy. It also says less is best when it comes to makeup. That doesn't mean you should skimp on skincare. It says sex should continue to be important, but I always say you can also have sex with yourself. Having just a handful of clothing items that fit perfectly is a lot better than having a whole closet full of items that aren't all that great and fit like crap.
I agree.
Walking is still the best exercise. And French women feel that what you eat and how much you eat are of all vital importance. So when it comes to drinking, they tend to avoid hard liquor, but opt for a glass or two of wine with their meals, and they stay with smaller portions. And that's one thing in Europe. They say that when they come here, I mean, we are in the Big Macs and the big meals. It's no wonder we all have a huge weight problem here. Not you, Adrienne, but
No, but I have to watch it too. It doesn't take long to put that on.
So do you agree with that? Any of those things?
I agree with that, and I think as you get older, influence on how you feel about yourself. And I always think that mirror therapy is good. Look in the mirror, say I love you, and talk to yourself. And I mean, I think that's really good to get that feedback back from the mirror that maybe you're not getting from someone, but you can give it to yourself.
Awesome.
Very
I like that.
good.
Very good.
Are you a particular fan of Louise Hay? Because you sound very much like her in attitude.
Louise Hay, I've read some of her books, but no, I've just learned, and I get depressed sometimes, but I take the small steps to get out of it. I don't dwell in it. I'll go for a walk. Right. I'll take a class. I'll go to a seminar. I mean, I'll do something, even as hard as it is to make those steps. I'll take those steps to get myself out of it.
Excellent.
And so I don't stay in it. I don't stay attached to the sadness or the disappointment, which I have. Right. I mean, naturally, of course I do. But I don't stay attached to it because I'm thankful.
Well, Anita, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our Rainbow Crone guest today. We appreciate your wonderful wisdom.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Enjoy the bubble baths.
Okay, we've got 8 minutes and 28 seconds. We have to do a Speedy Gonzalez on Karen from Alabama. Okay. And I think that was Anita or was that Donna? Gosh,
dear.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Donna, was that Donna? Was that okay? Anita is next. Anita, we've got two to go through really quick. So
I'm ready.
Anita, honey, how are you? And what question do you have for Miss Adrienne?
Hi, Adrienne. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi.
Well, hi. I'm getting ready to get a bunch of things together in Michigan to go to Arizona, and it's doctor-related and as well getting my things organized and paperwork. What do you see as the most important thing to get together first?
To get together? Actually, right now I'm just saying that you need to say no to any distractions and anything that seems foreign to your nature. So, in other words, if you feel right now that you have two things equally asking for your energy and you can't decide, then you're going to have to literally write it down, two different ones, and see which one feels more important. I know. Go ahead, Annie. Go ahead.
Couldn't agree with you more. Mine says the same thing.